No.
Welcome to If These Heels Could Talk. I'm JoyGenea with Solutions by JoyGenea.
And I'm Michelle with Bad Cat Digital, and I'm really excited to talk about this today.
Good. I'm kind of thinking it's going to be interesting, to say the least, on our T-shirt day. Like,
on our T-shirt
for
day,
those that can't see us, we're sporting the T-shirts today,
T-shirt
making our little statements.
Well, you're making a statement.
So are you. Yours says things.
It says I'm not for everyone, but that's just a statement of fact.
I was just going to say, that's still a statement. Like T-shirts with wording. Like
it's a statement. Okay.
I always feel like that's somebody's personal billboard, kind of like their bumper sticker. Like, oh, look at the unicorn bumper sticker. You told me so much about you.
See, I think about bumper stickers on clothes, and I think about, when people had pink on the back of their sweatpants.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that was a statement.
That was a statement.
Yeah. And anyway. For branding. Like I always think that. I'm like, they got people to pay to advertise for them. I'm like, they're brilliant. No, my statement was I was remembering my dad today. So I'm wearing his. Yep, I'm wearing his colors and his squadron, actually, that he was part of in the military. So
that's super cool.
Thank you. I like
so today we are not talking about T-shirts.
No,
today,
we're done.
We are talking about expectations and reality. We are talking about whether we get excited to be excited, or whether we like to stay calm about new ventures.
Use your example. I like your example.
So I am a huge Harry Potter fan. You would say that I am part of the fandom of Harry Potter. And there is, when we put this out, it'll probably already be out, but we're about a week and a half out from a PlayStation 5 game coming out called Hogwarts Legacy. And I am obsessed. I am super excited. Pre-ordered. We bought a PlayStation 5 specifically because of this game.
Oh, wow.
My husband was happy with his PlayStation 4. He didn't
But you're
care.
like, no,
I wanted the upgraded version of this game on PlayStation 5. So we skipped our Valentine's Day plans. And bought a PlayStation 5 instead. That's so serious. Awesome. I'm so excited about it.
That is awesome.
And I am watching probably too much YouTube videos about
you're getting into the hype.
You're getting into the hype. I'm loving the hype. I'm enjoying the hype.
Okay.
And yesterday,
yes,
I saw a video come up that was like a skeptics version, and I watched it, and it made me, first of all, irrationally angry. But second of all, when I thought about it, I thought this is actually really smart because it is a very hyped game, and I am really excited about it. And it's not cheap. And we bought a PlayStation 5, which is also not cheap, specifically because of this game. How will I feel if I'm disappointed in the game? How will I feel if it doesn't live up to my expectations? And am I setting my expectations so high?
Yep.
Am I so excited that it couldn't possibly live up to my expectations? So it started me thinking about people, because there's different people respond to kind of stuff like this differently. And I've always really admired people who kind of keep an even head and who get excited. Of course, people get excited, but are kind of measured excited.
Right.
I'm excited and we'll wait and see. I'm excited and we'll wait and see. Like the person who made the skeptics video who was like, look, I'm excited. I'm a fan. And yet these possibilities exist in my mind and I don't want it. I don't want to be disappointed. So I'm going to measure my excitement. So I started to liken it to people who like to ride roller coasters and people who like to ride
who prefer. They would prefer. I was just
because both are fun, and I'm not judging one or the other. Yeah. It sounds like I'm trying to say one is really exciting, but to a lot of people, roller coasters are scary and dangerous. They're not exciting. They're not thrilling. They are scary and dangerous. So what I'm trying to ask is, or kind of what I'm kind of thinking about is, these are two different people.
Well, and from a marketing perspective too, you talked about it from a marketing perspective, you want to hype something new like that, right? From their perspective, they're okay, we want to really hype this. And they do need to be conscious and aware of the fact if you don't deliver, if you overhype this and you cannot deliver, the backlash from your inaugural people that are following you could be
really big.
Yeah, it could be devastating.
Here's all of these people,
from a product perspective.
Especially when you're talking about the internet, because here are all of these people, and I've probably watched I've probably watched YouTube videos, walkthroughs, and commentaries on 15 different YouTube channels. So now you're talking about 15 different YouTube channels who are so hyped, so excited.
Well, and their brand is not like they're geared towards this being successful.
They want it to be successful. And then if they don't enjoy it when it comes out, they'll be honest about it. Yeah. I was disappointed in this. I didn't like this. I was disappointed in that. And it's going to completely shift the conversation. So I think from a brand and from a marketing perspective, you have to deliver on your hype.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about just that anticipation, I guess, I start to think about those two different people.
Yeah.
And there's some cases in some spaces where it's really hard for those two different people to work together.
Absolutely. I think they're two different personality types. Yeah. One is reserved. And one is more gregarious. One is more outgoing and can lean in more.
I think that's kind of our initial perception, but I actually think I think that it's bigger than that. I think it's
keep going.
I think it's more about a value system than a personality type.
Oh, I would agree with that. You're right. You're right.
With you.
That's very surface. What I said was surface. I would agree. It's definitely about values and beliefs.
Yeah.
No, that type of behavior I would definitely say is core.
Yes.
To how you function in a wide.
So it's almost like when you find any other kind of potential conflict that is a core.
That within a system is because
it's difficult. It's not impossible. It's just difficult.
Well, it is difficult because people feel like you're challenging their values.
Right. Or judging.
Yes.
Their preferences or their values or their belief system. And that's not it.
So, and anytime you have people who feel like their values, the core of their beliefs, their values challenged, that's personal. Right away, like we went to a personal level and we're going to defend that at a personal level. Right. Like you've said bad things about my sister. Like, yes.
Yeah.
It causes defense.
You called my mom what?
Yeah, exactly. And so that's a really good question from a business perspective, when people have taken, you know what I mean? When something comes up, maybe a project, something that you're working on pushes against some of that.
The reason I think that this is a core kind of value thing and how I kind of identify those issues that kind of drive at the heart of people.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. I mean, it's an inherent difference at the heart of different people. When you run into something that everybody assumes their way is literally the only way.
Yes.
They're not even questioning or asking what is the other perspective here, because to them there is no other perspective. That is what lives at the heart of their belief system, their worldview.
Yes. It's how they make choices. Like it's their mission vision statement.
And we've talked about this before, where we had talked about like being out in nature is healing or soothing.
For some of us,
to you.
Yep.
And it's so not to me. And you never even questioned it.
No, but thank goodness we've had the conversation. So now so
now we see it. Because it, and I have those things too. So when I look at this, I think I'm even being careful how I talk about it, because I'm a roller coaster person. I'm totally a roller coaster person. I love the hype. I love the excitement. Bring it on. I love it. And you know what? Sometimes it disappoints and there's this giant thud at the end. And it sucks. It does suck. The thud sucks, but it's not always there.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, the concept of measuring holding back my excitement on the off chance that there will be a thud is so silly. Like, why would I deprive myself of the joy?
Yes.
And so I don't like the merry-go-round. I'm totally a roller coaster person. And so it took a long time for me to even question that.
Oh.
And
as a leader, that would be challenging. Do you think so had you questioned it had you kind of gone through this when you first started your business, or has this been something that you've been evolving through?
This has been something that I've been evolving through. Because
I had a feeling.
Here's what happens. And anybody in business, especially in a business where you have people who sell something and then people who fulfill something. There's an inherent conflict between people who sell something and people who fulfill something.
Yes.
Because people who sell something always want to say yes. and people who fulfill something always want to say no. And I mean, that's
no, it's true.
That's
it's
incredibly
so true.
simplified. That's incredibly simplified.
But it is.
But everybody has
different personalities.
Well, there are also different sets of priorities.
Yes.
And they're being judged on different behaviors and different metrics.
Ecosystem.
Sales is being judged on bringing it in, not on fulfilling it or getting it out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And fulfillment is being judged on getting it out the door. And when sales makes a promise, fulfillment has to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
And so when those two things are in conflict, or your salesperson is a roller coaster person, like I am, and your fulfillment is not, it creates conflict, and it's created substantial conflict on our team. And I'm right at the heart of that because of this. And because it was like, why are you stealing my joy? Why can't you let me be excited about bringing this in?
Yes. Yeah.
Meanwhile, all anybody ever wanted was the knowledge that we would have the tools and resources we need to fulfill.
And now,
and because I'm a roller coaster person, I don't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I get excited in the moment and I don't think about it in the moment.
Yep.
So I have to force myself to think about it through my excitement, which is really hard.
I bet.
And then I have to ask merry-go-round people to start to trust me and feel safe on the roller coaster ride, which is really, really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a big conflict. And this is I think there's a lot of different things like this in business where there's kind of these core worldview and belief systems that ride in conflict with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, realizing that everybody's excited to be at the amusement park.
Yes. There we go.
Is the whole game.
And recognize when you go to the amusement park, there's lots of things. Because everybody likes a variety.
Everybody likes a variety of
different things. Some people just love the people watching and strolling and eating the food. They're there for that.
For example, I don't eat a lot when I go to amusement parks because of the roller coaster.
I was just gonna say those don't go together. Anybody that's tried that one.
And this is maybe getting a little literal and maybe a little gross, but when you are up and down on a roller coaster like that, your stomach starts to
it's physically it's painful.
And but it's not painful for me, it's exciting for me. I get like an adrenaline rush when it moves like that.
Oh, that's okay. But if there's food in it, I mean, that's where it gets painful.
So it's better if it's empty.
Right.
So you don't eat the hot dogs and the funnel cakes and the candy corn and the
not if you're going to seriously ride the roller coasters.
Not if you're really going to seriously do the rides.
Yeah.
But if you're on the merry-go-round, gosh, you could eat while you're on the merry-go-round.
You can enjoy it all at one
time. Multitasking. On a unicorn.
So now what's been interesting is I've been more of a skeptical business owner.
Mm-hmm.
And at times that's definitely, like, as I was listening to you, I'm like, she is definitely reminding me that at times that has been definitely a hindrance in sales, because I am like maybe in the process of selling something, but I'm also merry-go-rounding it. And
you're remembering all of the ways it's gone wrong.
Well, and all of the steps that are going to need to happen and those kind of things. And that's not the right energy. That's not the right look, vibe to be giving off when you're selling something. You want to come across really excited, and
you want to come across as enthusiastic about the project confident. Yeah, even if it's kind of a fake it till you make it thing.
Right, but I have had to, as my confidence has increased and so forth, it's been easier to, in life overall, actually step away from the.
Because I'm not trying to mislead anybody. That's not a manipulative thing in sales. That is simply because confidence and excitement draw people in.
Right.
It's not intended to undercut anything. It's not intended to, but excitement and confidence is a bandwagon. People like to be around it. People want to feel that.
If I'm making an investment, look at it from if I'm a buyer and I'm buying it and I'm going to make a fairly large investment in my marketing or in anything in business, I want the people.
I want to feel good about what I'm doing.
Yes. I want to feel good about the decision I'm making. I want to feel confident in the people. And so, and if they're over there massively thinking about something and looking down and
I don't know if we can do this. And
I don't know.
And I don't know about that. And how do we make that happen?
That's not causing me to want to take my checkbook out and write that check.
Right. But the thing is, there is a happy medium between them.
Yes.
Because in that sales process, you can say, I'm super excited about this. I think it's a fantastic idea. I need 2 days to work on some logistics with my team so I can be 100% confident that we can come back to you with exactly what you're looking for.
That's the $1 million moment.
And that's the moment, because that's the moment that you're taking a breath and you're not letting the excitement get away from you. And that's the moment that my team needs from me.
Yes.
And that's the moment that roller coaster people need to take, is to say, am I intentionally on this ride? Am I doing this on purpose? Or am I just getting swept away by the hype? And I had that moment. The video that I watched with the skeptic gave me that moment.
Gave you the reflection.
The other thing that gave me the moment was because I said something to my husband about how much time I was planning to put in the game very soon.
Yeah.
I said something about maybe I would take the day off from work the day. And he said, "Do we need to put parental controls on the PlayStation?" And I said, "You better not."
No.
So
that was
no, you are not my mom.
Yeah,
so
no.
If I want to take a day off to play video games, I will do that, because that is my prerogative as an adult. However, I do hear you that maybe you would like to do something different with the television in our living room
every once in a while.
once in 3 days.
There you go.
I'll give you an hour every day.
There you go.
But you're not going to watch the Super Bowl. So
no. You're not taking time out for all that.
No. Partially because I know you don't care. So
it's like,
but I think that's the realization. That's kind of the moment. That's kind of the thing. And I think that the minute that we open ourselves up to seeing that other worldview in a core way, then the conflict starts to resolve, because we can see that and not judge that view. But I was really thinking about this with the Hogwarts game, and I thought, gosh, how difficult is it for those two people to work on a team together?
Yeah.
And yet, how important are both of them?
Yes, both things. I was thinking about how I've evolved with age to understanding that different. I don't want to rob I'm at a place now where I don't want to rob myself of the excitement of the new experience or the new thing. So I allow myself to lean in and get hyped. But because I'm an early adapter, there have been a lot of things that I have been like, woohoo, and I'm like, woo, that fell short. Oh, well. And I move on, or I give them a year. I'm like, I'll give you a year to figure your crap out. And I ask to be like, I don't know if you've done this, but if you're an early adapter to software and stuff, they'll ask you right away, like, do you want to be a beta tester? And then do you want to give us feedback?
Sure.
And I'll sign up for a lot of those things. Like when the device from Amazon came out, the speaker, I won't use its name in this environment. When it came out, I had that thing year and a half before everybody, like it
really.
Yeah. And I was filling out surveys weekly. Like, this isn't working. I want it to do this. Why can't it do that? Like, I was constantly like giving feedback.
You're that person.
I'm that person. But I didn't have an expectation that it was going to be amazing. I thought it was the start of something interesting.
Right.
And so I get excited. And I'm like, this is great. And then,
but you're excited about the process.
No, I can be. I want it to actually fully work. Like if they say, like with your video game, I would be excited for it to be that way. And then as things maybe don't live up to the expectation, I'll allow I've noticed I have a lot of flex in being like, they're not there yet. I'm gonna give you a year. Like I'm like, I'll give you some time. Figure this out. It's new. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. But I found a lot of people don't have that breathing space.
Right. It either is everything.
It's everything right now. And I'm like, that's tough.
I'm not going in a truly political direction here, but that feels an awful lot like how people talk about candidates.
Yeah.
In political candidates.
Yeah. No.
It's either they agree with everything that I've ever had to say and they're perfect, or I'm not engaging at all.
That goes back to our earlier conversation about values and beliefs,
right,
and how it's so personal,
right.
And so I think that's the distance I've been able to put with a variety of things and be like, it'd be cool if this lives up to the hype, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. And what's the middle?
What's actually really cool about now and in this particular instance, this hype, is that I'm getting more information through the hype, and the information that I'm getting is actually tempering my expectations.
Well, that's nice.
So I saw in the trailer, I saw a Quidditch pitch in the game. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, it sounds like it's gobbledygook at this point. If you haven't had Harry Potter spoilers, you're never going to read it. So whatever. Yeah. But Quidditch is a game in Harry Potter that you play on broomsticks. And I would have expected a video game of Harry Potter where you can fly on a broomstick and that has a Quidditch pitch in the world.
I would think
to have a Quidditch game, like a quest line or some sort of way of engaging with the game of Quidditch, maybe a training thing or tryouts or something like that.
Makes sense.
But the game developers have been very clear that the pitch is there, but there's no Quidditch game thing. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking yet.
Yeah.
Because, there's versions of the game that are going to come out this summer for other platforms. And then they can always patch things and add things later. That's the beauty of modern.
That's typically what they do. Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of modern gaming is that they work on something, you can't figure it out for launch. They walk away from it and then they add it 6 months later. Right.
Or else somebody else wants it and they literally
and they'll figure it out.
They'll reach out to him and be like, I pretty much coded this thing.
But at the time of launch, it won't be there.
Right.
And I would have been disappointed in that.
But luckily.
But I've been engaging in the hype. I've been watching all the videos and now I know that it's not going to be there. Okay.
Yeah. So you're adjusting.
I'm adjusting.
And that is helping them.
And it is. So it's not like it.
From a marketing perspective, then this is wise on their part.
Yes.
Like it sounds like they're doing a nice job of balancing
doing a really good job
hype.
Of balancing it.
Yeah. It's amazing and but by allowing other people to give feedback.
And the thing from a marketing perspective that they do that's really brilliant.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers is obviously the IP holds the IP of the game, intellectual property of the game, and is the kind of parent company for this venture. And they invited a bunch of YouTubers and influencers out to their headquarters to play the game under like supervised circumstances and record themselves.
Oh, okay.
So all of these people are posting playthroughs that are like an hour long from these 2-hour sessions that they allow.
Sure.
And saying things like, well, the game, we couldn't go there, or we had to stop here, or, we weren't allowed in this area.
Yeah.
And what it's doing is it's hyping the game, but doing it in a realistic way. Nobody's guessing.
Yeah.
And the guessing.
You're right.
In the void with the guessing is the problem, right?
And that's human nature. We talk about that.
Absolutely human nature.
Good marketing sometimes leaves the appropriate space that people fill in the gap and it links people to buying from you or engaging with you. But the wrong gap and the wrong space.
It shouldn't be a vacuum.
People
a gap
fill
and a
in.
Vacuum are two different things.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you think about kind of what they've done and how they've done it, it's been really, really well done. The launch and the release has been really well done. And it's also been a really long time coming because this game has been delayed quite a few times from my understanding.
Yeah.
And so, because honestly, for a video game to get into my world, media, my bubble of social media and the bubble of things that I personally interact with takes a lot because I'm not a video gamer. I'm not
as much as you used to. I used to be.
I used to play MMOs. I used to play the online role-playing games, and I used to do that, but that was
pre-business.
10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, that was pre-relationship, pre-business.
Well, it was pre spending all day, every day looking at a computer screen at work.
Yeah.
So it was hard then to go home and look at a computer screen for gaming because I had done it at work all day. So, so it was before all of that. That was 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. I'm rusty. We got the PlayStation early. There's a practice game on it so I could learn the controller. I'm still not great. I will play the game on easy mode. Not gonna lie about that.
Just start
no
out.
Pride whatsoever. And but I'm super excited about it. And I'm gonna ride this roller coaster.
That a girl.
As long as I can. The game comes out next week. I'm super excited. But in the meantime,
I think the lesson I'm taking away from our conversation is how important it is to have these conversations with your staff and with yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With other leaders potentially, and be like, okay, because you're a business owner, you're probably a roller coaster person. Like, let's get real. You probably are.
And part of our job as leaders is to see past the superficial into what's happening underneath.
Yes.
It's not about engaging in pop psychology or trying to like suss out people's feelings or provide therapy at work. That's completely inappropriate.
Don't do that.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But when a team member complains about something like they're just promising things that I can't deliver, or I'm just so worried that they're going to say something I can't make good on, or I don't understand why I'm not the one that gets to talk, or why can't we see those proposals before they go out? Or how can I plan for something if I don't know when people are going to deliver? These are questions that are fulfillment questions. And on sales, it'd be the same thing. You're not going to get somebody coming to you going, I feel like we have different expectations for something new, and I don't know how to. No, that's not what anybody's going to come to you and say.
No.
Somebody's going to come to you and say, well, every time I sell something, people complain. How come I can't just sell something and have people excited about it?
Right. They feel like somebody throws a wet blanket on it.
Like,
I sold something and people are like,
how am I supposed to be excited about meeting my goals if nobody's excited that I met my goals? Don't people understand that I'm out there selling something so that they can have a job? Yeah. They don't have a job if I'm not selling it. Like that's how it's going to come into your brain. That's how it's going to come at you.
Yeah.
And rather than brushing off this stuff that seems so small,
it's not small.
That seems petty. Mm-hmm. Especially when you hear it multiple times from multiple people in multiple directions.
Well, and that's getting those people, like, as you're talking about it, I'm literally remembering back to observing this.
Yeah.
When I worked, and I was 20 years oldish in a life preserver company. There was a local life preserver company. I worked on I worked a variety of places throughout that. And I remember in all positions for the 5 years I was there, the gripe.
Yes.
The gripe from our end, because we were on the other side, right? I was in manufacturing.
Right.
So the gripe that I would hear.
Salespeople.
Oh my God. Right. We haven't even made this yet.
What are they doing selling? I don't know how much
remember, like, as you're talking about it, like, I remember all of that.
How can they put a price tag on it if we don't even know how much it's going to cost?
Right.
Blah, 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 blah.
And I'm thinking in my head from a leadership perspective, now I'm like, why didn't they sit those people in a room and let the conversation happen and let them figure it out, so that from our manufacturing perspective, from what was happening in the back, there should have been more support.
Absolutely.
Like, it should, that whining and griping should never have happened. I should not have seen that.
Right.
That should have,
because what it turns into,
it's not helpful.
Your supervisors or your managers whining and griping in front of you.
Right.
Which impacts you.
I thought the salespeople were annoying.
And makes it retention of employees a lot harder.
Well, and when the salespeople would come back to talk to us while we were making new products and stuff, I was annoyed by them, and I would be slightly rude. I had judgments. I had picked up their perspective, which, like you said, if they weren't out doing those things, we didn't have a business.
Right.
And
if you guys weren't back there making the things that they were out selling, we wouldn't have a business. Everybody's at the amusement park.
Right. Everybody's at the amusement park, and the conversation should have been, the uncomfortable conversation should have been had, so that wasn't happening. And I see it now quite often in a variety of places. So don't think what happened way over there isn't happening now. I've seen it in businesses.
Literally literally is a big word. I see
consistently
consistently in clients, consistently here, consistently at my friends' businesses.
Yeah.
When you're at restaurants, you're talking about the conflict between the front end service team and the back end cook team. When you're talking about retail, you're talking about people stocking versus the people at cash registers. When you're talking about manufacturing, you're talking about what you said. When you're talking about professional services, you're talking about what I said. It's an ongoing conflict, and it's something that doesn't have to stop. Well, and it can be a healthy and constructive conflict.
Good leadership. I was thinking back. There have been a variety of books I've read. The Really Good Leadership addresses this early. I've not heard it said like this, but they address, like, this is a conversation that's had. And consistently, like, they, from a leadership perspective,
I think good leadership addresses hard things. I think good leadership doesn't shy away from difficult things, and good leadership doesn't shy away from things that impact them as well.
Yes.
And even if that conversation is ongoing, because I can tell you,
this would be an ongoing. This is an ongoing conversation.
I have been having.
This is ongoing.
I've been having a version of this conversation every 4 months
Well,
for 5 years.
And that's
a
how
version of this conversation.
You're evolving and adding more to it. And that's how they're evolving.
And we're all hearing and understanding pieces,
mm-hmm.
and then starting to understand more and we're all requiring grace from each other, and we're all requiring, patience.
Mm-hmm.
And
I see you. Like they are. Everybody's working on it.
Everybody's working on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what it needs to be. It's not going to be fixed in a conversation. I don't want to leave that impression.
I don't know that it's a fix.
I don't know that I think you're right. I don't think it's really a fix.
I think it's that like I said, I've evolved to the place where I get hyped and excited, but I also give them about a year to get it right.
And how can we take this conflict that right now is destructive?
Correct.
And turn it into something that is acknowledged and constructive.
Yes.
Because it's not going to go away.
No.
Different people are going to value different things no matter what. You're never going to get them to change their mind.
Well, you don't want to. That's
because it's important that both exist.
Right. That's the balance. If
it's not about changing somebody who loves roller coasters into somebody who loves merry-go-rounds, or somebody who loves merry-go-rounds into somebody who loves roller coasters. It's about getting both of them to acknowledge the value in each other.
And appreciating
it and being grateful for it and doing what they can to help each other out. Like maybe I can stand in line at the roller coaster and saves them, time in the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And maybe if I'm just gonna beat this metaphor to death. Maybe if we have a third party at the amusement park with us,
yes,
I can, stay with that third party while somebody else enjoys their merry-go-round.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's not an or.
It's not an or.
And.
It's an and.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for joining us today as we've worked through and talked about something that's important.
This therapy time with you.
Well, I appreciate that we bring other people into the conversation so we can help you walk through some of these things, because this conversation matters.
I think this is a conversation that everybody should really think about in their organizations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is something that impacts a lot of people. It impacts a lot of people in their day-to-day work. And it's something that, their lives could be a little bit better. Their work could be a little bit less stressful.
Yes.
If how they celebrate, and what they need to feel safe, if those things are acknowledged, addressed, and dealt with.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us this week. We hope you have a fabulous week ahead of you, and we look forward to sharing some more information with you next time. Take care.
Bye.